Hey guys, it is DGD Dull Gamer Dill, and welcome back to another part to What Remains of Edith Finch. Alright, so I didn't realize that the recording stopped and I was actually recording for that long, so I actually have to go back and redo Lewis Finch's story. Guys, this game is really depressing. This is probably the most depressing game I think I've ever played. It's really good, but it's just really, really sad.
Dear beautiful prince.
Yeah, this is where I left off before.
The
Like
prince
I said,
was
I
on his
didn't
own quest for
realize it stopped recording, so my bad, guys.
sinister
My bad.
serpents.
Also, I got like really quiet last episode or last part, so, and that's because all of this is just like really heavy on one
He followed
person.
the sound of his
So
electric sitar.
it's just a lot. I'm sorry.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh my gosh.
Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Lewis, if I could talk you out of doing this. At this point, he's just... It's like he's in his own trance right now. It's like that battle of trying to figure out what's real and what isn't.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Oh my god. It's worth, like, I accidentally played through that part the first time because,
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
I didn't know that it stopped recording, and so now playing through the second time is still really heavy. Alright, so I'm not even gonna review. Well, actually, because it's a new video, I might as well do it. So Molly, I think, choked to death because of whatever she was eating that night. Barbara was murdered. Calvin died via swinging because of a swinging accident. He accidentally propelled himself from the swing. Sam was knocked off of a cliff. Walter was hit by a train. Gregory drowned. Gus was blown away. Blown into sea, I think. Sven, I'm guessing he was crushed by the dragon in the pond. Milton went missing and is most likely dead. But I think he is dead. I think they said he was in the beginning of the in the beginning of the game, but I kind of forgot. And Lewis took his own life. Edith, get out of the house. Just let's just leave this house alone. I don't want to be here anymore. This whole game is, I'm gonna say it right now, if you're gonna play this game, just be prepared, because it's just a lot of, it's just a lot.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
And wow, Edith. A little context. So I guess now we gotta figure out what happened to Dawn. Rest in peace, Lewis. I gotta say, he had a pretty sweet room. Now, I mean, they said he struggled with substance abuse, so my theory is he most likely was just so high that he really couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't until it was too late. Or, I mean, because in a way, he still committed suicide. So then the question remains is, was it by his own free will, or was it because of his substance abuse? Which I think they alluded to in the beginning of the message, but how much of it was his substance abuse and how much of it was just him, I think is the question.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
I don't. This house is cursed. And I'm superstitious like that, so yeah, this house is cursed. All the missing persons reports. Can we zoom in? Oh yeah, we can. So he just went missing. He just left one day and just...
But I understand why we left.
Oh. I'm gonna keep playing a lot more of these indie style games because this is really good. It's
My
really
mom ended up leaving everything behind.
it's really sad, but it's really good.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Edith?
Maybe it should have come sooner.
Was this Edith's room?
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
I don't think I want to know what happened that night. Is it me or did she get shorter? Or is she just crouching because she's so tall now? What? What is that? Oh, it's a feather. It's a feather pen.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Finches.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Oh no.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
When
I
I
got
can't see.
turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
Jeez.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
Oh, she's talking about her child.
And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Am I being born?
But now I hope you'll never see it.
Yeah.
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
What? Oh no. Oh no.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Shirley Dallas. And that was it. Okay, okay, that was intense. Um, that was like a whole nother level of sad that I didn't even know existed. I thought honestly the game was beautifully written. I thought it was a little bit, I mean, in order to, I guess, figure out what happened to all of her family members, I guess it's like jumping back in time and kind of putting yourself in their shoes, or like experiencing it through their eyes. And so, you know, as you go through the story, you find out what happened to all of them, and it's heartbreaking, honestly. Honestly, I mean, I've been saying honestly a lot. Um, it's just a lot to take in at once. So I will say that if you are gonna play this game, um, just you know, go into it with kind of, just take a deep breath before you play it, and just, you know, do as little as possible, because like playing it all at once, it's like you have all this information being thrown at you, and none of it's really, you know, positive information. It takes a toll on you. What got me throughout this majority of the game is the amount of them that died so early. I mean, Gregory, like I said, that honestly reminded me of 6 Feet Under, the episode where, um, the infant died, and so, due to SIDS, and we got this whole sequence of him seeing, you know, something completely different, something that's a little bit imaginative, and this game kind of did the same thing, but on a whole nother level of just depressing. The end. Um, it's just, yeah. It's just a lot. It's really a lot. But one thing I don't think I saw was what happened to Odin. So I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out what happened to Odin, if there was maybe a sequence that I missed. Maybe. Because I never figured out what happened to Odin. So I think there was something that I most likely missed. Like I said, this game was very sad.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Oh. There's a way to do it, but dang it. There's a way to do his memory sequence, and I know there is. We also never really figured out what happened to, what actually happened to Sven, so I feel like there was something that I missed.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
So now, I have a question. I mean, like, we know that death is just it's a constant. I mean, it's not something that's just gonna end. So my question is, would the curse be passed down to her son? Because I think we know that either Edith died from childbirth, or she died from she died due to maybe old age or a sickness, or a disease that she maybe didn't even know that she had. Alright, I'm just trying to see if I can do this. I don't know why it seems like I can't do this. Doesn't seem like I can see what happened to him. I mean, no. Ah, there we go.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann.
Oh.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Jesus.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
So Odin,
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
so like I said, I really didn't know that you could do that. So I'm sorry, I'm just now getting to this. But um, yeah. So everything started with Odin um and his family, and I'm just gonna hope that everything ended, the curse ended with Edith and her newborn and her son. Oh God. Okay. Well then, I feel like, is there? Huh. All right. Well, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to find. Okay. Okay, and with that, we come to the final part of What Remains of Edith Finch. Overall, I thought this game was pretty morbid, but it was so well written, and I felt like the background music, the atmosphere was honestly pretty phenomenal. So, if you do intend on playing this game, just know that it's really heavy, so I would probably take it one step at a time. Unless you're into, the dark stuff like this, so if you are, play to your heart's content. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like, you can follow my Twitter and Instagram, as well as like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. This is DGD, and this has been a pleasure playing. DGD out.